What if God sees your pain even when you have no words left to pray? What if compassion moves before faith, before understanding, before hope? What if this miracle is not only about resurrection, but about how close Jesus comes to human sorrow? In Luke 7:11-17, we are invited into one of the most tender moments in the Gospels. Jesus enters a small town called Nain, accompanied by his disciples and a large crowd. At the same time, another crowd is leaving the town, very different in spirit. It is a funeral procession. At the center of it is a woman, a widow, and the body of her only son. This scene is heavy with loss. In that culture, a widow without a son was among the most vulnerable people imaginable. She had lost her husband, and now she has lost her only child. This is not just emotional pain, it is social, economic, and future-shaping loss. Her grief is total. Notice something important. The woman does not call out to Jesus. She does not ask for a miracle. She does not demonstrate faith, at least not outwardly. She is simply carrying grief that words can no longer express. And Jesus sees her. Luke tells us that when the Lord saw her, his heart went out to her. The word used here speaks of deep compassion, a movement from the very depths of his being. This compassion is not triggered by a request. It is not earned. It arises simply because Jesus sees suffering. This moment reveals something essential about who Jesus is. He does not wait for perfect faith. He does not require the right prayer. He is moved by human pain. Jesus approaches the woman and says something surprising. Do not weep. At first, these words sound almost cruel. How could anyone say this to a mother who has just lost her son? But these words are not dismissal. They are a promise. Jesus does not say, stop crying. He says, you will not need to cry much longer. Then Jesus does something that would have shocked everyone watching. He touches the bier carrying the body. According to the law, this would make him ceremonially unclean. But Jesus is never afraid of contamination. Instead of death making him unclean, his presence brings life. He speaks again. He speaks directly to death. Young man, I say to you, get up. And the impossible happens. The dead man sits up and begins to speak. Life returns at the sound of Jesus' voice. This is not a slow recovery. It is immediate restoration. And then comes one of the most beautiful details in the entire passage. Jesus gives the son back to his mother. This miracle is not only about power, it is about restoration. Jesus restores a life, but he also restores a future. He restores dignity. He restores hope. The crowd responds with awe and fear. They glorify God and say that a great prophet has appeared among them. They recognize that God has visited his people. This is an important phrase. God has visited. In Jesus, God steps into human sorrow and does not remain distant. This story speaks deeply to those who feel overlooked in their pain. The widow has no name recorded. She has no voice in the story. Yet she is seen. Her suffering matters. Jesus notices her without being asked. For those who feel their grief is too heavy to put into words, this story offers comfort. There are moments when pain silences prayer. Moments when faith feels exhausted. Jesus meets us there too. The widow's son does not rise because of her faith or his own. He rises because Jesus speaks. This reminds us that God's power is not limited by our weakness. When we have nothing left to offer, he still acts. This story also reveals the authority of Jesus' word. He speaks and life responds. Just as in creation where God spoke and things came into being, Jesus speaks and reverses death itself. But notice the tenderness. Jesus does not announce the miracle loudly. He does not draw attention to himself. He focuses on the woman. He gives her back what she lost. This is compassion in action. There is also a deeper echo here. This miracle mirrors an Old Testament story where Elijah raises a widow's son. The people recognize this connection and call Jesus a great prophet. But Jesus is more than a prophet. He does not pray for power. He speaks with authority. Life obeys. This miracle points forward as well. It foreshadows Jesus' own resurrection. But even more, it shows us the heart behind resurrection. God does not delight in death. He confronts it. He interrupts funeral processions. Sometimes Jesus stops the procession. Sometimes he walks with us through it. But he is always present. This story invites us to reflect on how Jesus meets suffering. He does not explain it away. He does not blame the widow. He does not tell her it's part of a plan she must accept. He is moved. He acts. In our lives, we may carry different kinds of loss, not always death, but dreams that died. relationships that ended, seasons that never returned. This story reminds us that Jesus sees those losses too. There is also an invitation here for how we respond to others' pain. The crowd follows Jesus. They witness compassion. They learn that God's power is expressed through mercy. As followers of Christ, we are called to notice, to be moved, and to act where we can. The fear that grips the crowd is not terror, but reverent awe. They realize they are in the presence of something holy, something beyond human explanation. This awe leads to praise. The news spreads throughout the region. But notice, the widow does not speak. Her restored joy speaks for her. This miracle shows us that God's timing is not always aligned with our expectations. Jesus arrives when the funeral is already in motion. Hope seems too late. And yet with God, even too late is not the end. This story challenges our understanding of faith. Sometimes faith looks like trust. Sometimes it looks like obedience. And sometimes it looks like simply being seen by Jesus. If you are walking through grief today, this story is not a promise that every loss will be reversed in the way we desire. But it is a promise that Jesus is not indifferent. He is near. He is compassionate. He is present in pain. And ultimately, this story points us toward a greater hope. A day when death itself will be undone. When tears will be wiped away. When Jesus will speak again, and all will rise. Until then, we remember that He is the one who stops, who sees, who speaks life into sorrow. Thank you for watching this video on Holy Path Insights. If this message touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who may need comfort, and follow the channel for more reflections on the life and compassion of Jesus. May you find peace in knowing that Christ sees you, walks with you, and brings life even in the midst of loss.